John Kalench speaks with the understanding voice of a decade of experience. He's been where you are, and he knows what works and what doesn't. On the street smart side, John knows the stuff inside and out. He's built a successful million-dollar multi-level marketing distributorship, created and directed his own network marketing corporation, and through his company, Millionaires in Motion, which he is the founder and president, has trained thousands of men and women to become successful network marketing masters. His style is personal, enjoyable, and fun to read. It's like having John as a close friend sitting in your living room, sharing his knowledge and experience so that you may learn. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight he's in your living room. Give him a Team Diamond Nikken welcome for Mr. John Kalench!
On the street, inside your head, on every beat, and the beats alive, deep inside, the pressure's high, just to stay alive, 'cause the heat is on.
I can't tell you how good it feels to be up here. Scary. This is the first time that I've been back on a platform since my little ordeal a few months ago. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was first introduced to this glorious concept, method of doing business called network marketing or network distribution about 20 years ago. And as many of you are aware, that first night that I was presented this concept, went to a meeting, saw the circles on the board. I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. I set a goal that night because I was so attracted to this concept. I believed in it so much. I believed that I was going to be a part of it for the rest of my life. I wanted to set a goal that kept me really focused on what was important to me. And the goal that I set almost 20 years ago, that I've been working passionately towards ever since, is that by the time I die, I wanted to have 1 million friends. Well, I'll tell you. I set that goal because I not only saw the power of network marketing as to what it could do for me as far as my personal and financial goals, but that it also would allow me to express myself and to make a contribution. And then I saw the real value, the biggest asset that I could build in my network marketing pursuits was the quantity and the quality of the relationships that I created, the friendships. And so I kept very focused on that over these last 20 years. But I got to be honest with you. I really had no grasp as to the power of that goal that I set 20 years ago. I really didn't truly understand its power. It was only until a little over 2 months ago that I was diagnosed with this thing called pancreatic cancer. And the message got out to the community about my illness. Now, we didn't publish that message, it just got out. People started hearing about it, and they started telling other people about it. I guess that's how network marketing works. The next thing I know, I'm laying there in the hospital, and over the next few days and the next few weeks, myself and my family is just overwhelmed by the response that we've received from all over the world. The cards, the letters, the faxes, the gifts. My room in the hospital was so loaded with flowers that the nurses were afraid I couldn't breathe. It was absolutely unbelievable. And it really made me understand that because many of the responses that we received were from people that I never really met, that were just touched and moved by my books and my message and the difference that it made in their life. And I was just so taken by all of this that I couldn't help but want to thank each and every one of you, because many of those cards, many of those notes, many of those faxes and those gifts came from you, the Nikken people. Now I know that as you're out there in your daily routine and joy of building your business, that sometimes we lose sight of the kind of difference that we're trying to make in people's lives. We come from this pure space of enthusiasm and love and integrity for what it is we're trying to share with others, what we believe can help them impact and empower themselves for the better. And sometimes we run across people that are a little indifferent. Maybe some people are a little negative to what it is we're trying to share with them and how we're trying to contribute. Sometimes we take that a little personal. Sometimes we lose a little sight of what we're trying to do and whether or not what we're doing really is making a difference. Well, I just want you to know something, my friends, that in addition to the difference that you have made with your Nikken people and your groups, I want you to know that I'm a walking, talking, living, breathing, and giving example again of the difference that you're made with myself and my family. I'm convinced it was your cards and your letters and your thoughts and your prayers that for a 48-hour period of time where my family wasn't sure I was going to be around, that you made the difference. And I want to thank you for the difference that you've made in myself and my family. I only have an hour with you tonight. There's so much I want to say. I don't want this hour to be just spent on talking to you about the process that I've been through and my family's been through over the last couple of months. I didn't want it to be that way. I take a look at what you have done, your outpour of affection and acknowledgement and love for who I am and what I've done over these past few years of knowing you. I take a look at what you've done has given me a very special gift. And in return, I want to give you a gift tonight. I want to give you something that you can walk away with that can make an impact beyond anything you've ever experienced. I want to share with you a piece of information that I learned about 9 years ago that, without question, has made the biggest difference in my life. When I first heard it, I was attracted to it, and I hope by the end of my chat with you this evening that you are as attracted to it as I was. And there is nothing since that period of time, 9 years ago, that has allowed me to improve the quality of my life more than this thing called the cycle of success. For us to glean the wisdom of this thing called the cycle of success, we must have some kind of common definition for this word called success, because I believe each and every one of us are in this room because we are in pursuit of this thing called success. We might all have a different definition for it. We might all look for different things in order to experience it. But we're all in pursuit of this thing called a successful life. Some people have this belief, this perception that success is all about achieving some kind of goal, arriving at some kind of destination. Whereas the best definition I've ever been able to find for the word success was written by Earl Nightingale in both his book and in his film called The Strangest Secret. And he defines success as the progressive realization of one's worthy ideals. The progressive realization of one's worthy ideals. Now, when you truly understand that definition, you begin to understand that success is not about the destination. It's most importantly, like you have heard, about the journey. Success is all about how you feel about who you are and what it is you are doing every single day. Would it matter if 1 million people out there perceived you to be successful if within your own heart and within your own soul, within your own mind, you did not feel that success, you did not enjoy that success? It wouldn't matter what those 1 million people thought. So success isn't anything that anyone can give you. Success isn't anything that anything can give you. Success is only a gift that you can give to yourself. Now, if it's true that success lies in the journey and not the destination, does it not make sense that we learn how to ride something through our journey, that we master it so that experiencing this thing called success every single day, every single moment of every single day becomes less and less of an effort? That the more we master this tool that we use to ride through our journey, the more it becomes effortless to experience this thing called success. So that's why we use the concept of this cycle of success. And if I can get the transparency up here for a moment, I'd like you to go back to that moment in time as a child when you first had your thought of wanting to have your own bike. It was pretty important to us, wasn't it? What was so important about that bike? What did it represent? What did it symbolize to us? Freedom. It was an instrument, it was a tool that would allow us to express ourselves in our own individuality and to become free, to go where we wanted to go, do the things we wanted to do. It was our first sign and symbol of being able to be free. And even though we weren't born with the ability, or born, I should say, with the experience of mastering how to ride it, we went through the process of learning what it is we needed to learn in order to master it. Because we knew that once we did learn how to ride that bike, we could go where we wanted to go. We could express our freedom. Many times in the process of trying to learn how to ride our bike, we would fall. We would get hurt. But we'd always stand right back up, brush ourselves off, and get right back on it. No matter how painful the experience, we kept getting right back on it until we mastered it. And then eventually, as we did that, we start to experience this thing called momentum in our life. That the hardest thing to do was to get the thing started. But once we got momentum and speed on our side, it was effortless. In fact, we even got so confident we took our hands off the handlebars a few times, didn't we? And our feet off the pedal. Because we had momentum, you see. We didn't totally understand what that meant as a child. But we had this thing called momentum and energy with us. It's the same thing with your cycle of success. Being able to master the tool that will allow you to ride through your life, through your journey, effortlessly, and to have momentum on your side. So with this cycle here, I'm going to share with you the different components that make up the cycle of success. There's actually 6, one in the middle where the 2 petals meet, and the 5 that evolve around it. Now, for the purposes of a better visual, so that you can follow me, I'm going to change the transparency now, so I can write on something here that has each one of these components. So as I talk about them, I'll just put them right in the proper place. So all you need to do is draw 1 circle in the middle and 5 around it. Are you familiar with how to do that? Let's take a look at the center circle. This is the hub. This is the center point upon which everything in your cycle of success evolves. There's nothing more important than this center point. It's referred to as your purpose in life. Many people refer to it as a mission or a vision statement. Any business that is of substance has a purpose for being in business. That statement, that purpose is clearly defined. All of the decisions that are made by the decision makers within that company are made in alignment with the purpose and the vision and the mission for that company's existence. All of the people associated with that particular company are in alignment with that purpose, that mission, that vision. Why should we as an individual be any different than a business, than a company? Do we not have a purpose for our personal existence? Are we not here for a very specific reason? Being able to clearly define what that purpose is allows us to make more educated choices as to what it is we do to express ourselves. When all we do is focus on goals in life versus a purpose, then all we're doing is focusing our attention on the things that we can have. And we will virtually do anything that we need to do that comes in handy at the time in order to have those things. But when we're clear as to what it is we want to be, what our purpose in life and our existence for being here is, now we're able to choose more clearly as to what it is we do to express that being. And we only do things that's in alignment with our purpose in life. Consequently, we end up doing those things so much more passionately. And as a result of doing them so much more passionately, we end up being so much more productive that we end up having everything we want to have. So instead of life being about have, to do, to be, life is more importantly about being, to do, to have. That's probably why they call us human beings and not human havings. The first time I'd ever heard about a purpose, I was very attracted to it because all I'd ever focused my attention on before then was goals. And my life was more like a roller coaster. I would work very, very hard towards some tangible goals that I wanted to achieve, but then I would soon discover it wasn't everything that I expected it to be. There was something else missing. It was like, is this all there is? And so I would digress, become maybe even a couch potato for a while. It would take me now all new goals to set that I can move towards to get myself back out on the track. Now, as the result of discovering my purpose in life, I move more passionately every single day of my existence towards what it is I want to be. My purpose isn't something that I can ever achieve. It's something that I just become as I keep it in the consciousness of my mind, and I move towards it. I was shared 3 questions that I should ask myself. I put them in my book, Being the Best You Can Be in MLM. I know most, if not all of you, have read that book and have gone through those questions, and probably most of you never did the exercises. That's okay. I understand how that happens. But if anything, I would like to be an instrument of words that maybe gets you back to that book and back to those 3 questions to really ask yourself as to what is truly important to you. I mean, you're so special. You're so unique. There isn't anybody that thinks like you, has the same unique desires, abilities, hidden talents, wants, needs as you. You're very unique and very special. And if you were able to get in touch with those qualities that are meaningful and important to you, and being able to see the things that kind of come natural to you that you would like to enhance and master along your journey, you'll be able to now choose things that really allow you to express yourself and nurture those qualities to become the best that you can possibly be. There's another book out there that I highly recommend. It's called The On-Purpose Person by Kevin McCarthy. Great book. It's hard to find, so if you have a difficult time, you can contact us. We carry it. But it's got some wonderful exercises in it. You know, I could stand up here and I could tout the benefits of purpose until I'm blue in the face because of the difference it's made in my life. It's just like this glass of water that I hold in my hands. It's got a name. It's called water. It's also got another title to it. It's called H2O. I could probably stand up here and for 15, maybe 30 minutes and talk about the benefits of water, what it could do for you as an individual. But again, you really wouldn't know what it was until you experienced it. And that's all I hope to be tonight, is that if you have not discovered your purpose, is to move you towards that again. I had one of the most powerful people in Nikken just come up to me a few moments ago and just tell me how difference that made in his life, Reed Nelson, and how much he hated the book when he first got to that exercise and he threw it down, but that he went back to it and that it's made a difference. And you know why it makes a difference? It's not that it's made Reed probably make any more different choices than what he's made in the past, but when you really discover what your purpose is and then you define it, you actually write it out into a paragraph form where it clearly communicates who you are, what you want to be, what you stand for, the legacy that you want to leave. Now you're able to choose, take a look at all the things that's trying to gather your attention, all the opportunities out there that are trying to get you to get involved with them. And you're able to make educated choices as to what's the best thing to do based on what you want to be. And I'm convinced that when you really are clear as to what your purpose is in life, that you'll recognize that Nikken and network marketing is the perfect opportunity right now for you to express yourself to the fullest. And when you come to that recognition yourself, you're going to unleash this thing called passion. And there isn't anything in the world that's going to stop you from being and doing and having everything that you want in life. You know, a good example of people that are on purpose within Nikken is probably Dave and Valerie Johnson. Can you imagine 7, 8 years ago when they started their Nikken business? Sitting at their dining room table after being shown this opportunity, and David sitting across the table from Valerie and saying something like, "Sweetheart, let's set a goal. I think we need to set a goal of making over $200,000 a month." I don't think that's what was going through their mind. I'm not saying that they didn't set some kind of financial goal. But I don't believe 7 or 8 years ago, Dave and Valerie thought that they'd be making $200,000 plus a month today. I believe what they recognized first and foremost was a company that had integrity, products that could make a lasting difference in people's lives, and they saw the value of network distribution for an opportunity to express themselves and to contribute, the thing that they wanted to do all their life, to be more of what they already are. So as a result of them moving towards the thing of adding value to others through their Nikken products and the network marketing opportunity, then the universe rewarded them with money. And because of their contribution, that's why they're worth the money that they're making today. See, there's a lot of people that honestly have the kind of belief system right now that if I only made more money, I'd be more happy. Well, all more money does is make you more of what you already are. So if you're unhappy and you set a goal of making more money, you're just going to be more unhappy. If you're greedy and more money comes in your life, you're going to be more greedy. But if you are a person that comes from love and contribution and you want to make a lasting difference, and then you choose a vehicle that allows you to do that and at the same time reward you for that contribution, then as money comes into your life, it's going to make you more of what you already are. So David and Valerie are perfect examples of people, Nikken people, that are on purpose. And the universes reward them with financial abundance as a result of their contribution. The next component is actually where the pedal sits up at the top. This is where you get your leverage. You have one foot firmly on the ground, you straddle your bike, you got the pedal up here, you need to push down to get your cycle going. So this can be called your driving force. It's a very important part of your cycle. The stronger you push down, the faster you get your cycle going. This particular component is called belief. The stronger your belief, the stronger you're going to push down on that pedal. Your success in life is totally relevant to your belief system. And there's 3 areas that we need to focus our attention on when it comes to belief. Not just one, but 3 areas. And I'd like to share all 3 with you, one at a time. First is that you must have an unshakable faith and belief in this thing called Nikken. Now, I know most of you are saying, I've already got that, John. Go on to the next one. And I realize that many of you do have this unshakable faith and belief in Nikken. There's many of you that are sitting in this room that have people back there at home in your network that have a strong belief in this thing called Nikken, but for some reason they're not out there touting the benefits of it. For some reason they're not out there trying to build a business with it, even though they talk about wanting to do that. So even though their belief system is strong with Nikken, there's something else that's missing. That's why all 3 of these components that I'm going to talk about in your belief system are of equal importance. There's a number of people, a strong percentage of the people that are in our industry today that have a strong faith and belief in their company and in their products. Most of the people in network marketing are only in network marketing because of that belief in their products and in their company. A good question to ask yourself is, how did you get that belief system in Nikken? Did you just wake up one morning and all of a sudden say you believed in Nikken? I don't think so. I think that you got to a certain point where you made an educated choice to submerge yourself in the process of experiencing everything you could about this fine company and its products. You chose to write checks, pull out credit cards, pay cash for some of the products, to experience them personally. You chose to take valuable time to go to some meetings, to meet some of the people involved, maybe even some large functions where you can meet some of the corporate people, the principals of the company. You got close to these people. You wanted to get a feel for who they are, what they stood for. You submerged yourself in the process of doing everything that you could to learn as much as you possibly could about Nikken. And every single time that you were in an event, you met people that you connected with, and you believed that you could achieve the success that they did. It took your belief system up a little bit. Every time you experienced one of the products that made a difference in your life, it took your belief level up a little bit in Nikken. And now today, you have a strong, healthy belief in this thing called Nikken, and it's allowing you to go out there and perpetuate it to others. Now, you might think you've got an unshakable faith and belief level in Nikken, but the only way that you can really judge that is to compare it to somebody that you know has that unshakable belief. On a scale of 0 to 10, wouldn't it be interesting for you to find out if 10 was the highest as to where you were on this level of belief with your company. Well, the only way that you can really say that you're a 10 is that if you know of someone else that's a 10, unquestionably in your mind, and you can say, I compare to that. I believe just as much as they do. Well, who in your mind would be a perfect candidate as a 10 in a belief in Nikken, the company and its products? Maybe Mr. Isamu Masuda? Do you think he has a level of 10 belief in this company? There's your standard. There's your benchmark. If you were able to build your belief in Nikken to the point of Mr. Masuda's, what do you think you could accomplish? Do you think you'd be out there every single day talking to people about this company, about these products? Do you think anybody that said something negative about it, said they were too expensive, would just be like water off of a duck's back? You just go right on to the next person. You would just be a machine, just constantly talking to people because you had this unshakable belief. Well, there's your standard, my friends. There's your benchmark. And what I'm saying is that you know how to build this belief because you've already started it. It's a matter of making a choice to put yourself in the process of experiencing everything you can. Let's take a look at the next. In addition to having an unshakable belief in Nikken, you must also have an unshakable belief in this thing called network marketing. And what I'd like to do is just kind of entertain a new thought. I believe that your company, Nikken, is a vehicle that you have chosen because it's in alignment with what you want to be. A vehicle that you connect with because of the company and the people behind it and the products and the difference that it's made. It's a personal reflection of who you are and what you are enthusiastic about and what you want to share. But it's a vehicle. The opportunity is presented to you, is offered to you through this thing called network marketing and network distribution. Without network marketing, you wouldn't have an opportunity because it provides the infrastructure for you to drive this vehicle called Nikken. If network distribution and marketing did not exist, more than likely these products may not exist here in this country. The difference that these products have made with so many thousands and thousands of people may not have been made had it not been for this thing called network distribution. And the reason that I bring this to your attention is that you, each and every one of us, have to make an educated choice to put ourselves in the process of experiencing everything we can about network marketing so that we can build an unshakable belief in it as well. And my point is that I believe we must believe in network marketing and network distribution as an industry as much as we believe in our company and as much as we believe in our products. So we get to a point where we have to make a choice to become a student of network distribution. When I started 20 years ago, there was only one book on the subject. Now there's countless books and tapes and videos, all of which is available to you from Team Diamond. Countless tools that allow you to, over time, build your belief in this industry. Well, if you need a standard as far as a level of 10 in belief in network marketing, I'd like to offer myself up as a candidate. Do you believe I believe in network marketing? And I believe with all my heart and all my might. Now, I didn't wake up one morning and just all of a sudden say I believe. For 20 years, I've made that choice to submerge myself in the process of experiencing everything I could. 10 years ago, I made the choice of making network marketing my product, my only product. I mean, I have such an unshakable faith and belief in this industry, I could be challenged by the most powerful person in the world. And it would just be like water off of a duck's back. President Clinton, have you heard of him? He could call me up, and he could say, Mr. Kalench, this is President Clinton, and I got your name because I understand that you are an advocate of some sort for this thing called network marketing. And I've been getting many phone calls from my congressmen and my senators who have been getting many letters and calls from their constituents. And I wasn't aware of this, but there is a number of Americans out there that are unhappy with this thing called network marketing. People that they believe promises were made to them, but now they have products in their garage that they can't sell and that their dreams are shattered. And so what I'm thinking about doing, Mr. Kalench, is taking this thing called network marketing and to protect the people of America, wiping it off the map of free enterprise altogether. And before I make that decision, before I make that choice, I wanted to chat with you. And I'd say, well, President Clinton, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'd catch the first flight into Washington, take a car right into the White House grounds, walk right into that Oval Office and sit right across from the President's desk and look him straight in the eye. And I'd say something like, first of all, President Clinton, I want you to know that I'm very sensitive to your concerns. I also know that you're an educated man and that you do not like making choices and decisions until you have all the facts and that you have talked to the right people. And it's very obvious to me, President Clinton, that you don't have all the facts about network marketing and you haven't yet talked to the right people. Because, President Clinton, if you knew, sir, what I know about network marketing, you wouldn't be thinking about wiping it off the map of free enterprise. You'd be looking at a way to how to get Hillary in this business. Now, if you had that unshakable level of belief in network marketing, what could you do? Anything. You'd be out there every single day perpetuating the value and the benefits of this industry. Not just talking about the company and the products, but in harmony, you'd be chatting about the opportunity, letting people know about how viable and timely this industry is. And if they say something indifferent or negative, you'd look them right in the eye and say, you know, it's really unfortunate to feel that way. Obviously, you just haven't met the right people, and you don't have all the facts. Because if you knew what I know, you wouldn't think that, let alone say it. And you'd be giving them tools and information to take their level of belief in the industry higher. You'd be attracting a lot more people to your business opportunity and not just wholesale users of your products. Third is that you must have an unshakable faith and level of belief in yourself. This is probably the foundation of the three. You got to believe in the potential of what you're able to accomplish. You got to believe in your dreams, that you're both worthy of them and capable of achieving them. Now, that's a lot easier said than done. Most of the time, we're attracting people to our business that don't come from a successful background, that haven't experienced this thing called prosperity and success and the things that they've done in the past. They are very attracted to who we are and what we're trying to accomplish, and they get caught up in that attraction, and they dream that something could possibly happen for them as well. But they don't truly believe within their whole heart and soul that they can achieve what it is they would love to achieve. They have a personal belief system that's incongruent with their dreams and their goals in life. So my suggestion is that from the moment that we get started on this journey, we need to now take the time and make the investments to become students of ourselves, to read the books, to listen to the tapes, to go to the seminars, go to all the conferences, to surround ourselves with people that think more of us than we think of ourselves, to become a student of personal development and enlightenment, to make that choice, to put all the time and energy and money that we can into our mind, into our belief. It was Benjamin Franklin that said it better than anybody else I've ever read. He says, take everything that you own and put it in your mind. That way nobody can ever steal it. Now, what I find really interesting is that the average American spends somewhere around $800 a year on niceties for the outside of their head. Things like shampoos and conditioners and hats and permanents and razor blades and mustache wax and face creams and all that kind of stuff. About $800 a year the average American spends on the things for the outside of their head. Then you ask that same American to invest somewhere around $200, $300 into some books, tapes, a seminar, a conference, a workshop that will help them tap into their dreams, and now all of a sudden they don't think their head's worth it. And that's a perfect example of someone's belief system, where they have the kind of belief level, if I spend enough money on the outside, then the inside's going to feel good about itself, as opposed to have the kind of belief that when I invest enough money on the inside, the outside just naturally glows. Now, need a standard for personal belief, need a benchmark to point to. I'd like to offer up the candidates of Al and Jan Kiernan. There's a couple of candidates, there's a couple of people that believe in themselves with all their heart and all their might and all their soul. Would you agree? I mean, there was no doubt in Al and Jan's mind when they were introduced to the Nikken opportunity that they could do this. They had a belief that they could tap into all the potential that was available. They believed in their own selves, they believed in network distribution, and they believed that Nikken was a special company with special products or was going to make a special difference. But it was their own personal belief and their own personal abilities that have made them what they are today. You need to become students of that personal development like they are. They're the 10s. You need to take a look at where you are. If you were a 10, level of 10 in belief in Nikken, a level of 10 in belief in network marketing, a level of 10 in belief in your own abilities, where do you think you'd be right now? I'd tell you where you'd be. You'd be up here on this platform, and I'd be sitting in this audience with these 4,000 people on the edge of my seat listening to every single word you had to say. Now, if you're attracted to this information, if you see that I can't do it alone by just believing in Nikken, I've got to believe in this industry and I got to believe in myself. If you see the common sense of that, then here's a little something I'd like to offer up to you. A little exercise that you could do before you even leave this conference, if you like. It's called the courage to change. At our table in the back, it might be hard for you to see there, but at our table in the back, there is worksheets. If you can see that you are ready to raise, to elevate your level of belief, then that means what you are willing to do is that you are willing to commit to growth. Now, growth only comes as a result of making a change. And in order to change, we must be courageous. There's two reasons why we will be willing to change. One is we get to a point in our life where we're fed up. I can't take this anymore. I refuse to live like this anymore. I refuse to think like this anymore. And we get to that point where we now have the courage to make change. Another reason that we change is that we are inspired by some dreams and some goals that come into our life. And we're willing to do the things necessary to tap into those dreams. We self-motivate. Doesn't matter what reason we have to change. What's important is that we are willing to change. So this worksheet, what it does is that it allows you to take an honest self-analysis. Here on the left side, you can see that you can identify your level of belief in Nikken, the company. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Do the same with network marketing. And then do the same as your level of belief in yourself. Give yourself an honest self-analysis as to where you are. Then take the total of those three, divide it by 3, and that gives you your overall belief system at this present moment in time. Then make a commitment over the next 90 days to do the things you need to do to raise your level of belief. At the same time, it's going to raise your business and raise your income. First section here is that once you've identified your level of belief is now work with your buddy and identify the consequences that you would experience if you did not do what you needed to do to build a stronger belief. The consequences of not building a stronger belief in Nikken can mean that maybe you don't go out there and perpetuate the products and the opportunity to people as much. Consequently, you don't create more customers. Consequently, you got people that are not interested in purchasing your products. They're not all that inexpensive. You need to have a strong belief to get people to make the investment in most of your products. And so as a result of that, that means you don't have any customers, you don't have any people that are interested in looking at the possibilities of maybe perpetuating the good of it to other people, so you don't have any candidates or prospects, so maybe you end up quitting. That could be the consequences of you not making a choice to build a stronger belief. Next category allows you to define what rewards you would experience and enjoy if you did make the choice. And in the third area, if you can see that the rewards are great, you can see that the consequences are miserable, then you have a place here to identify action steps that you're going to take over the next 90 days to elevate your level of belief in each category. And then down at the bottom, a place for you to put in your information, a place for your buddy to put in their information, a place for you to make a signature of commitment and promise. Make each other accountable and responsible for this exercise that you collectively did. And if you'd like our support at MIM, make a copy of your worksheet and mail it in to us. Our address is on there. We've got telecoaches at our office. I'd be more than happy to follow up with you. Not only stimulate you and do what we need to do to move you towards your action steps, but maybe even give you some ideas as to what you can do to build stronger levels of faith and belief in the industry and in yourself. So if you're attracted to this, here's your opportunity to move away from this experience and to do something proactive so that over the next 90 days you've got a stronger level of belief in all three categories than what you have at this moment. So now let's go back to the cycle of success. Now with this level of belief, you're going to push down on this pedal. The cycle of success tells us the next thing we need to do is plan. This is not one of the more popular things in my cycle of success, it's planning. I like to get into action. How about you? Okay. Well, I think Benjamin Franklin said, I think we all have heard the value of planning our work and working our plan. Well, Benjamin Franklin said it really good. He said, if someone only gave you 4 hours to cut down a tree, I suggest you invest 3 hours of it sharpening the axe. How many of you have been swinging a dull axe for the last few months? How many of you got a number of people in your network that have been swinging dull axes? See, there's a lot of value to this thing called planning. Now, I'm all about action. I love action. I love the power of it and so forth. And many times when I was just getting started out, the impulse of my actions allowed me to experience some measurable degree of success. But now it's different for me. We've got some lofty goals with our company over the next couple of years, and because of the size of the business that we are right now, that if we don't really plan what it is we're going to do, the mistakes that we make as a result of the actions that we impulsively take could prove to be very costly. So planning is still not one of my favorite things, but I discipline myself because I know the value of it in the cycle. So what I end up doing is paying somebody that's good at it. For the last 10 months, I've been paying a consultant 20 hours a week worth of their time, $10,000 a month to do the planning for us, to give us some kind of track to run on, to make sure all the people in our office are in alignment with this plan, because I don't have the time or the energy or the desire to do that kind of planning. I want to get into action. And he holds the reins back to make sure that we do this thing properly. Now, here's a suggestion for you. As your business gets bigger, you're going to want to do that more effectively. But as you're just getting started, you're going to say, I don't have the time or the money to go out and pay somebody to do my planning for me. You don't need to. But here's a great idea. Great idea if you want to start planning, especially for you people that are relatively new. As you leave here from this conference, over the next 48 hours, have the courage to imagine the best for yourself. Pick a time, 12 months into the future. Imagine yourself sitting upon this highly successful business that you've built. Everything that you want it to be, you've got 12 months from today. And then ask yourself this question. What will I have become as a result of this highly successful business 12 months from today? It's not that the business will make you will make the business, but what will be different? What qualities will you have that you do not have today, that you will have enhanced, that you will have nurtured along the way? What will you be doing differently 12 months from today as a result of this highly successful business that you're not doing now? What will you have? And then the last category is what you see yourself contributing that you're not capable or able to contribute today. What you see yourself becoming, what you see yourself doing, what you see yourself having, and what you see yourself contributing. Take a look at all of those things as a result of you being a highly successful Nikken and network marketer 12 months from today. Now, once you've identified those things, then write it into what I like to call a personal confirmation, where you put it all in the present tense, and you actually write it out, everything that you've become, everything that you're doing, everything that you have, and everything that you're contributing. It's all in the present tense. And then once you've got it written in a way where those words just lift your spirit every time you read it, package it nicely, create multiple copies, put it in convenient locations, and read that personal confirmation message 6 times every single day. 6 times every single day. You do that, my friends. That's your vision. That's your plan for what you see yourself becoming, doing, having, and contributing 12 months from today. You read that every day for 6 times every single day, you cannot help but think of what you need to do that day in order to start manifesting that. And so that's your 1-year plan that gets you focused on what's truly important and gets you doing the activities that are necessary to make that happen. All the universe now tells us once we have this plan is we need to put it into action. And my suggestion when it comes to action, take big, bold action. The bigger the action, the bigger the chance you're going to get big results. Granted, you take big actions, you can make big mistakes, yes? But if you're going to make mistakes, I say make big ones. You learn quicker. And you get a lot more people's attention, don't you? See, that's the challenge with most people is the size of their actions usually ends up with small mistakes. Consequently, they keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. They don't even notice them. You want to take actions that if you make mistakes, they just hit you right between the eyes, cannot help but get your attention. Say, take action, take action. Refuse to leave from this conference and not act on the information and the ideas that you're attracted to. Refuse to not take action. Now, if you're someone that has a difficult time taking action, if you end up pondering things too much, if you've got some people back in your area, in your network, that have a history of talking about what they want to do but not doing enough, then I've got another suggestion for you. At the risk of sounding like an advertisement, I encourage you to take a look at our new 6-week action course. It's a system that we've designed based on something that I learned 10 years ago that we have used to build our business to what it is today. That's all about focusing for 6 weeks on specific goals, a plan of how you're going to achieve those goals, putting yourself in a team environment where you're now responsible and accountable to a team of achieving it. Everybody has their own goals for that 6 weeks. You meet once a week as a team. You have a team captain. You support each other in the individual and the collective process of achieving your goals. It's the most powerful team building system available to network marketers today. I encourage you to take a look at it because it is a system of discipline. It gives everyone now a track to run on, a simple system to follow, to take all the things that they're being taught by their upline, by the books they're reading, by the seminars they're going to, and put it into a systematic business plan of action. So simple to use, but so powerful. And if you can't get a lot of your questions answered, just make sure my people back there get your card. They'll follow up with you. We have action course coaches that right over the phone can share with you the information about it and coach you through the whole process. But refuse, my friends, to not get into action. Refuse to not get into, did I say that before? Refuse to not get into action. All right, next step. Once you take action, the law of the universe says we're going to manifest this thing called a result. Of course, the stronger your belief, the bolder your plan, the bigger your action, the greater the results you're going to manifest. Now, here's where a lot of people end up getting stuck in the cycle. Is that a lot of people then, when they get to the point where they manifest a result based on a plan of action that they have implemented, many people get stuck. And what they end up with here is they end up with this gap from the result that they just manifested to the point of belief again, where they would push down on the pedal to get a whole new plan of action into motion. So they end up stuttering in their cycle, and you never get momentum on their side. See, many people have a tendency that when they manifest a result, they now start to make choices as to whether or not everything they've gone through was worth it based on what they just created. And they start to now make choices of what not to do based on what happened. And as soon as you manifest a result, what you want to do is start making choices of what to do based on what happened. Because as soon as you manifest a result, it's called what? It's called history. It's the past. Do you have any power in the past? None whatsoever. Do you have any power in the future? Can you do something tomorrow? Now? No. There's only one place you have any power, and that's right now. Right now. You may want to write this down. My point of power is in the present. This is the only place that I can do anything, is right here. And listen to these nows pass us by. That's why I have a hard time sleeping at night. Thinking about all these nows that I'm burning up while I'm unconscious. And I've got a greater appreciation of these things called nows than I ever had before. A couple of months ago, I truly learned the value of these nows because I was close to not having any more. Now, maybe you know something I don't. Maybe you've got some kind of guarantee. Maybe you've got some kind of bank account of these things where you know exactly how many you have. And you can burn them up. But I've learned something. These point of powers, these nows, they can stop with a heartbeat. There's only one place that we have any power, and that's right now, my friends. That doesn't mean that the past doesn't have any value or the future. The past is there for us to learn from, glean from, to make more wiser choices, become more educated. The future is there to inspire us, to give us direction, give us focus. But we don't live in the past. We don't keep beating ourselves up based on something that happened to us 2-3 years ago. How many of you have got people in your network that are constantly doing that? And we don't daydream all day thinking about the future. We use the past to learn from, and we use the future to inspire us. But we immediately come back to our point of power, which is our present, to create a whole new past and to manifest the future that we are designing. So the key element, you see, in the cycle of success, the next piece, is to learn how to acknowledge the results that you create, whether you like them or not, and look for the wisdom, the lessons to learn in the process. Become masters of acknowledgement. That as soon as you manifest a result, that you look for the lessons. You don't get stuck in the past, beating yourself up, oh, why did I do that? That you look for the lessons that you can glean from it so that you can immediately move to the point of belief again with a whole new level of enthusiasm because you know you can do it better the next time. Push down on the pedal with a whole new plan of action that's going to create a whole new past immediately. So if you don't like your past, acknowledge it for what it is and move yourself to the point of belief again, push down on the pedal and you'll create a new past. If I can give an example of what I'm talking about, when I first learned October 24th that I had pancreatic cancer, some of the first thoughts that came into my mind were questions like, why in the world did this happen to me? How could this happen to me? I don't deserve this. For the last 30 years, I've done everything in my power, everything that I've known of, to be healthy, to be fit. And it's very easy, you see, to get stuck in that. And I found myself thinking for a few moments about, man, everything I've done for the last 30 years was for nothing. Those 20 to 30 miles that I ran every single week, all the stuff that I had to push through to go through that was for nothing. The thousands, the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I spent on nutritional supplements and health products was all for nothing. But then the cycle of success taught me what I needed to do was acknowledge that, hey, I didn't get this thing called cancer through a blood transfusion. I didn't get it like the flu from somebody else. I manifested this thing in my life. I created it. There's something I need to learn here. And God's given me the opportunity to learn it before it killed me. So I should be wise enough to look for the lessons. And so I took those lessons. And it's like a 4-chapter book now that I'm going through. The first chapter was to remove this stuff from me as quickly as possible. That was the surgery. Second chapter is to try to deal with anything that's still left. So that's the chemotherapy I'm going through right now. Third chapter is that thanks to many of you and the power of network marketing, and there's so much valuable information, I'm now learning about products out there that can allow me to deal with this from a holistic point of view. So in other words, now starting to deal with the cause. And the fourth chapter of my book is that I plan on living a healthy and prosperous life all the way to the age of 125. But for the moment we take responsibility for the results, we look for the lessons and how we can improve it, make it better. That allows us to now move to the point of belief, again, push down the pedal with a whole new plan, with all new wisdom. You take a look at some of the most successful diamonds in Nikken. In fact, perfect example of acknowledgement, someone that's mastered it, is William and Jan Todd. Now, William probably looks to me as a mentor in his life. And I don't think he really understands or knows that he's one of my top mentors. Because in my opinion, he is the master of acknowledgement. I've never seen anybody acknowledge the things that have happened to him so quickly. He just gets up, brushes himself off, always looks for the good in everything, always positive, constantly learning from it, and constantly pushing down on the pedal again with a whole new plan. He's always excited about the things that he's learned and the results he's created, even though sometimes they're not good results. But he always makes them good because he looks for the lessons behind them, you see. You take a look at any of the diamonds, the key diamonds in this company. Take a look at the Reed and Yvonne Nelsons. Take a look at the Ruth and the Dennis Williams. Do you think they always manifested the results that they're manifesting today as a result of their business? These are people that have mastered this cycle, that every time they created results in the past, they immediately look for the good, the lessons that they can learn, put themselves back into belief to push down on the cycle again. It wasn't always as good as it was, you see. They had to go through a lot of things before they've gotten to this point. Things that most people are not willing to go through. Now, when you understand this, now you're able to get this thing called momentum on your side. You get your cycle moving faster and faster and faster. And the faster your cycle moves, what do you think must happen to here, the core of it? Your purpose. Knowing that your purpose isn't something that you achieve like a goal, your purpose is something that you become. So the faster you get your cycle going, the more you become as an individual. And the more you are becoming as an individual, the bigger your cycle must get in order to house you. And that's when you truly have momentum on your side, and that's when you start doing things like adding zeros to your life. And the way that you take a Nikken business, my friend, that's providing you $100 a month to one that's providing you $100,000 a month is that you add a lot of zeros. And it's the zeros that are not important. It's what you are becoming as a result of it that's truly important. So I hope that you see the wisdom and the power behind this thing called the cycle of success. You can take this information home with you and immediately start putting it into action. And if something's not working for you, you can look at it and you can see which of these components you may not be paying attention to. In closing, or before I actually close, I wanted to let each and every one of you know that you're very special. Nikken holds a very special place in my heart. You people have touched me deeply here lately. But not only me, my family. And with your permission, what I wanted to do is bring my family up right now and have you meet them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. On behalf of my wife, Yvonne, my beautiful wife, stuff that she's gone through the last couple of months, our son, Cole, about 3.5? No, right? Not quite 3.5. We have a little Noah on the way. He'll be due in March. We really wanted to thank you from the bottom of our heart for the outpouring of love and affection that you've shown us over these last couple of months. I told you you've made a difference, and you really have. And my wife, I'm not giving her the microphone because if I do, I'll just never get it back. She just. But I just wanted you to see that this is who we are, and this is the difference that you're making, because we truly believe that you did make a difference, and we love you for that. So thanks a million. I'd like to close out with one little story. And it's a story about one of my favorite subjects. And that subject is vision. Jonathan Swift defined vision as the ability to see what is invisible to most for now. That's what it takes, to be able to see what is invisible to most others for now. And this story is about a snail that had a vision. And his vision was to climb this cherry tree, very, large and old cherry tree. Its goal was to be able to feast on all the glorious cherries. So it began this very long and tedious journey. It was a cold and windy day in the early spring. And as it began this long journey, it couldn't help but get the attention of a number of other creatures out there. Creatures that were fascinated by this snail. Creatures that actually felt that the snail was foolish. And they would mock the snail, and they would do everything they possibly could to discourage it. And finally, there was this one little sparrow bird that couldn't take it anymore, and he flew right up to the snail, perched in front of it, and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Snail, but I understand that you are climbing this cherry tree because your goal is to feast on the cherries." And the snail said, "Yes, that's correct." And the sparrow bird said, "Well, that's why everybody's laughing at you, because there is no opportunity here, you see. There's no cherries on this cherry tree." And the snail looked this bird right in the eye, and with a tremendous amount of belief said, "Well," he says, "I know there's no cherries on this cherry tree, but there will be by the time I get there." Approximately 12 months from this weekend, there more than likely is going to be another Team Diamond conference somewhere. And with it, an opportunity for you to be so much further along the path of where you want to be than what you are today. If you really think about it, you're going to be somewhere 12 months from today anyway, aren't you? Why not be, my friends, where you want to be? Why not be where you want to be? I want to personally thank you for the opportunity to be here with you tonight. It's an evening that I will never forget for the rest of my life. And when you leave here from this glorious, glorious conference, I ask you to be safe. I encourage you to be on purpose. And I challenge you to be courageous. And from the moment that you take that very first step, just know and trust, my friends, that God is holding you, oh so softly, in his hands. Good night.
All right. Wasn't that great? Well, from all of us here on the team, John, we just want you to know that we love you, we appreciate you, and we appreciate your commitment to all of us, as you've proven over the years, and we're really appreciative of that. And with that, and with all of your approval, of course, we want to make John an honorary member of Team Diamond. Okay? John Kalench, all right.